damage and shots out on members of FaZe, and Renegade shortly after gets cleaned up. We now
catching
have a tie
spawners
game
now
after
too.
the killing spree from Legend.
Yeah, and in a do-or-die situation
Nice
there,
rotate.
right, where you either fall behind
He
and
curb
lose a
slides, but he
full
hugs
turret or
tight to the
rise
wall there
occasion
too, just to cut as many
make it a
sightlines as
game.
possible.
Quadrant
And
now have taken the lead and are
he
up
could back
by
out of
2.
that fight through blue if he
Offensive
wants to. He finds 2
excellent
now.
Team play, team pushes. Great use of their
Legend on a hot spree, man. He's almost at a frenzy. He's about to get a frenzy. He's get one more for a frenzy, I think.
Legend's about 1 or 2 kills away from a killing frenzy.
This right here. Oh my God, the triple over.
The killing frenzy for Legend. Will he get the over?
Oh, what?
Legend gets the
My God, he's going for 5. No way, no way. What a monster, dude. Quadrant take the attention. Who is that snake bite and Fridge? He wraps around, gets the kill tag. Oh my God. We got to talk about this. Right now we're watching Quadrant. This is the top Halo team in Europe in a grand final series versus FaZe. They're one of the best Halo teams in the world. Quadrant, over the last few months, has been breaking some records for European Halo, and not going to lie, even as a Canadian, this has been exciting to watch. So they played through this absolutely wild best-of-7 series that went the distance during an online tournament that took place last weekend. I watched the whole thing with my viewers on Twitch. This moment right here had to be one of my favorites. We are on board with Legend. He is a 19-year-old Halo player from France, and I think he might be one of the most individually talented players in the game right now. This Killtac gives you a little taste of that. But it's not just Legend that makes this play so great. It's also how his entire team helps create the opportunity for him. And we're going to break that down. First, though, let's focus on Legend because this play is nasty. You'll see he starts by cleaning up Renegade for the killing spree. His teammates earlier just took down a couple players on FaZe. You'll notice he spots Frosty spawning in blue util. Now, he can't see Royal 2 or Snakebite here, but he knows that they're there, and that's because of the position of his teammate Chick in yellow util, and Sika behind him, as well as the tendencies of Halo's spawn system, influencing spawns over to blue. So Legend knows there could be players in blue base here, and he can go in there and fight him, but to do that, he'd have to go down a tight hallway, vulnerable to nades, into a base full of corners with potentially hiding FaZe players, and he'd also be avoiding the sight lines of his teammates behind him and across the map. So he decides to cut out in front of blue base with a curb slide instead. This is the most important curb slide in the map, in my opinion, and it's not difficult to do. Every Halo player should have this in their back pocket, and it's not just about the speed that you gain from this curb slide. The angle that he chooses is very purposeful as well. He's hugging the wall and cutting the sight line from the util door while looking at car. He's got his reticle placed at car and the car jump up so he can isolate one potential fight at a time as he pushes up aggressively here. This is a nice fight with Frosty too. He shoots him 3 times. Frosty tosses a nade. He backs up and avoids it, but doesn't let the nade throw off his preparedness and reaction for the follow-up shot. That's what's so huge is he keeps his reticle placed, backs up. He's ready for Frosty to rechow. Moment he does, he executes him with a headshot. Notice the sprints in between the damage he's doing. He knows he's got to clear this gap quick because his left side is open and vulnerable to blue. Somebody could push him on the left-hand side if he's not quick. So he's sprinting in between shots, wasting no time as he plays aggressively here. He commits to the flank and takes out Royal 2. Nice positioning and reload habits here. He sits and tucks himself in the corner while Chick watches over his shoulder. He knows there's still players in blue here. He's got Sika with him now. He's got SLG pinching through the left-hand side of the blue base, and then we get this coordinated team attack from Quadrant.
Here comes the follow from Legend. Legend having a game. A double kill comes in. He's 13-7. Legend's about 1 or 2 kills away from a killing frenzy. There it is. The killing frenzy for Legend. Will he get the over? Challenging Royal 2 for gets the over kill.
The first 2 kills are easy for Legend. His teammates butter him up. He's just got to hit the headshots. He then backs up for a second. I love his movement habits. Here he hits a sprint precise crouch jump to skip his clamber to the bridge. This keeps his weapon up and gives him a second to survey the map for enemy spawners before re-entering the fight in blue from a high jumping angle. Some nice shots here to clean up Frosty for the triple and then lands on the commando spawn. And I love this curb slide. It's so slick, man. The beauty of curb sliding, in my opinion, is the flexibility that you have with it. Once again, it's not just about the high speed. It's about mixing up your timing and giving you control over Halo's combat dance. He sprints, then times crouch while falling to boost out and stays grounded while turning his aimer to the door. By turning his aimer like this, it cancels his slide on a dime. So he comes into this fight fast, but with control. And then his strafe, it's a thing of beauty. The key to a great strafe is hard to explain, but I think what makes this special is his movements on both his left and right stick are very quick and tight, and he's mixing in his crouch. More importantly, he's insanely confident. Like, despite being a shot down, he is dictating the pace in this fight by closing distance and putting pressure on Royal 2. So much pressure that it encourages him to throw a nade, but he's so confident that he overshoots the nade and jumps past it to get the kill. And, I don't think theater mode tracks his aim as well as I wish it could, but that was a beautiful overkill. And that's his final shot in the BR as well. So he's got to reload. Instead of hanging back, his decision-making so confident here during the sprint. He's going to reload, cuts the animation with the curb slide to come into this fight from an off angle and surprise Snakebite and get the Killtac. Gorgeous. So clearly that was a sick play, but how does something like this even happen, right? Because you don't just get Killtacs on FaZe without a coordinated team effort. And it's how Legend's team creates this opportunity for him that's almost as satisfying as the play itself. And thanks to Halo Infinite's theater mode, we can see what the other players are up to. So we're going to start with Chick. And this is because on the kill feed, Chick had like no impact on this play at all. It's almost as if he wasn't there. But if it wasn't for Chick, none of this would have been possible. Okay, so here's Chick right before the play happens. He's just spawned in yellow. He knows right now that his team has a numbers advantage. There's 2 dead players that we can see at least. One on the floor here and one here. It's a 4v2. He sees his whole team in front of him on pink side, so he knows he's a back player in this setup. Instead of running with the boys here and pushing up through pink, instead he splits off with a curb slide. He's going to fly over the thrust straight to car. His intention with this play is to create a perimeter around FaZe's spawn in blue by splitting the team into a 3-1 formation. And plays like this are super important in competitive Halo. As he pushes up, he sees Royal 2 and he knows they're spawning blue util. Instead of taking this fight to the death, or maybe jumping up to car 3, exposing himself to the connector sightline and maybe another FaZe player, he backs off immediately and then re-enters the fight from yellow util. This is so smart. Chick knows he's alone right now, separated from his team. His entire game plan is not about getting kills, right? It's just about keeping FaZe where they are, stuck in their spawn, and delaying them, and he can do that much more safely from here as Quadrant tries to push through the map and form a pinch and help him out. So he's just holding it back, throwing nades, keeping them back in car, and then he's going to back up, come back up to the util door. Chick is basically anchoring this entire play. His positioning right here is also blocking and influencing spawns for FaZe away from this yellow util and keeping them over in blue, combined with what Quadrant is doing, which we'll talk about in a second, but they're spawning, obviously, blue. The spawn system has a tendency, it's like a comeback mechanic built into Halo Infinite spawn, where it will try to spawn FaZe players in complementary perimeters beside the FaZe player. So the next spawn would be in the fridge, assuming it's not being blocked, and it's not being blocked. And part of the reason, why this is happening so consistently is because of what Chick is doing back here on this side of the map, telling the spawn system to keep spawning them over in blue. As time goes by here, he's going to check his corners, just in case somebody somehow splits, but he knows to watch P1. And you can see he's looking at P1 because P1 is an open spawn here as well. And he's going to slowly kind of come forward as this play comes to a close and create the pinch over to blue fridge as his teammates are pushing up and, dying and fighting in blue. And there they go. They're still spawning in blue here. Because he's pushed up now, that's going to open up the spawns behind him. So he'll take this fight with Snakebite. He gets him weak. And this is where Snakebite gets killed for the tack at the end of it. Jumps out. He's going to get killed from behind. So he gets tagged out from behind from a spawner up in the util over on behind him because he's now left the setup. But this is how you kind of form a proper collapse in Halo, is it starts with that anchor with Chick's positioning, which helps force the spawns over to blue side as they gradually push in and create the collapse. So this is important, and none of it shows up on the kill feed. And that's the thing about Halo and why a player like APG might be criticized by spectators but not by pros, is because APG's role, being able to block and influence spawns, is extremely important. And if it's not for that, then Lucid's not able to make the big, crazy play that he makes. Not to discredit anybody's individual ability, but it's a team game, right? And everybody has a role to play. Chick right now, his influence on these spawns is extremely important. And that's combined with the rest of Quadrant all playing off this opening in unison. So this is Sika. He'll get this kill on Frosty. He grabs the heat wave. He had it on his previous life. He's going to pick it up, take it up to P2 here. SLG just got a trade with a FaZe member. Legend cleans up the kill. He's right behind Legend here. He's tossing nades over to the door to watch Legend's left-hand side as he's making this push across. It's actually not just Legend who does this, though. You'll notice after he throws his nades here, the whole team in unison, they all curb slide across the courtyard together, taking different angles. Sika's going to come out, and he's going to cover the angle that Lqgend didn't cover through the staircase. SLG, he's flying out to car 1 to help support Chick on car. By making the decision to all fly out together in support of sightlines with each other, like they're moving, they can work together, they're also all opening up blue and making it super easy for Chick, who's anchoring, to know where these spawners are coming from. So they're just getting off of blue. Once they collapse and get these kills, it's going to flip them over. First, notice how Sika doesn't just go right up into blue by himself. He knows that there could be FaZe members in blue. And look, they're already hiding in the corner. He's predicting this in advance. He wraps into util first to join Lqgend and waits for a second. And then as he pushes out, he looks to his left-hand side and sees SLG starting to make the push. They're timing this together. He's not just going to fly in on his own. He'll start it, but it's a two-pronged attack here, right? SLG, he's going to come in from that left-hand side. Now, SLG has a bit of a risky role in this fight. He knows that by pushing into blue, he's actually pushing in the middle of an open spawn. And you'll see he checks the fridge as he comes up, but he doesn't see the spawners. So he thinks maybe he has timing to make this wrap, but this is just a risky play in general. So he just barely misses the timing. And then Frosty right behind him ends up killing him with the pinch. He'll do as much damage as he can, which was helpful for Lqgend because all he had to do was clean up the one shot. Here's Sika as well. He's got a thrust and a heat wave, so he's playing aggressive here. Going to use the vertical heat wave plus the thrust to get in his face. Lqgend cleans up the shot behind him. He gets back behind the base here to stay alive. Baits the nade out of Renegade. Here's SLG in the pinch with Lqgend for Renegade. And then I love this play at the end. He's one shot. Instead of backing out and leaving Lqgend alone here, he jumps vertical, which you would think would be risky normally. But he's got a thrust in the back pocket, and he knows that. So really what he's doing is just trying to land an off-angle shot with the heat wave for an immediate thrust out right away. I thought that was so slick. Frosty throws a nice nade, and it still kills him. But that little bit of damage and attention that he took away from the fight made it easy for Lqgend to shoot and kill Frosty. And then, of course, the 1v1 with Lqgend and Royal 2 after that is, you know, where he gets to show off the pure talent and big cojones, I guess. But I don't know, just so sick, right? It's not just Lqgend's individual play, but how the whole team times and coordinates things together to make it possible. Anyway, that's the breakdown. Quadrant is a pretty exciting team right now. Europe has never had a team this powerful. They've beaten Optic a couple times at this point. They brought FaZe to Game 7, so really makes you wonder how they're going to perform at Worlds coming up in a couple weeks, and I can't wait for that. We're doing a watch party for Worlds on my Twitch channel. If you guys like competitive Halo, you want to see me react and get excited about it live on Twitch, you can do that there. If you're new to competitive Halo, I think this is a great way to get into it. Worlds is the biggest event of the year. It's where all the hype, all the excitement, all the grind and time and energy that, you know, these players put into Halo, that's where it goes. So you don't want to miss this. If you liked this video and found it helpful, make sure to like, sub, share it around. It'd be cool to see, you know, more people enjoying competitive Halo. Maybe join me on Patreon as well. Thank you to my Patreon subscribers. Honestly, goes a long way in helping me continue to create this content. You get to join me for custom game nights as well. If there's a specific player or team you'd like me to break down, let me know in the comments who you'd like me to break down next. Who do you think's going to win Worlds? Because Worlds is coming up in a couple weeks. And lastly, if you want more Halo breakdown content just like this video, I've got related videos right beside me for you to check out. So until next time, this is the way.
For a first title, a first major championship for Lucid and Trippy. They become world champions. For APG, another championship. His first Halo World Champion.